I would like to thank you once again for this invitation. It's my nth time to be here in Anvil. Since you were still very small and very young, it was just small meetings, and now you're in the ballroom, at least a semi-ballroom of the Shangri-la, so I'm glad to be here. So thank you once again for inviting me to take part in this forum. We all know the business sector is a vital partner of government in carrying out the needed programs and reforms for a progressive nation. As such, the government ensures that its policies and programs would create a more conducive environment for business. In the Senate, several proposed measures aimed at improving growth and productivity of the private sector are being considered, such as simplifying the provision and administration of fiscal incentives in the country, amending the Productivity Incentives Act to make the law more responsive to the situations prevailing in labor and employment, and strengthening competitiveness of the construction and motor vehicle manufacturing industries, among many others. But as we work on these proposed bills and await their enactment into law, we already have a multitude of laws, mentioned earlier actually, that were passed many years ago, in my first term, my second term, that need only to be fully implemented so that we can actually reap their benefits. What are these? The Micro and Small and Medium Enterprises Law, the MSMEs, comprise 99.6% of the total business enterprises operating in our country. I wholeheartedly support the MSMEs, especially because I believe that they are the present and the future of business and investment in the country. In 2008, we succeeded in enacting Republic Act 9501, also known as the Magna Carta for Micro and Small and Medium Enterprises. The MSME law provides more assistance to entrepreneurs by requiring lending institutions to allocate at least 8%, an increase from the previous 6% of their total loan portfolio to micro and small business. It also provides access to new technologies and regular entrepreneurship training programs for workers to ensure the viability and growth of MSMEs in the country. We also have a little-known law, but if actually implemented, can be the engine of our economy, especially in the rural areas. And this is the Barangay Kabuhayan Law, RA 9509, which I authored in my second term. What does it do? It aims to establish a livelihood and skills training center in the 4th, 5th, and 6th class municipalities of our country, empowering local governments to enhance the productive capabilities of their large, yet untapped human resource, and to open doors for employment and entrepreneurial opportunities in the countryside. MSMEs must be supported because the sector is a significant driver of development and innovation, not only in the Philippines, but also in the whole Asia-Pacific region. Now, in December of 2015, we expect the emergence of the ASEAN Economic Community, and this I delivered the privileged speech just last week before adjournment. The AEC will set the stage for ASEAN as a single market and production base that would create opportunities for business complementation, thereby transforming ASEAN into a vital segment of the global supply chain. ASEAN, as a regional group, has the third largest market in Asia, after China and Japan. It is a huge and young market with a rising middle class. And in terms of trade, it is the 4th largest in the world, trailing only the European Union, North America, and China. And if ASEAN were a single entity, it would rank as the 8th largest economy in the world. ASEAN is rich in natural and human resources. Its GDP has grown over 170% over the past decade, amounting to $1.8 trillion by 2011. As we pursue this pathway that will bring the economies and people of ASEAN together under a single economic community, we need to ensure that the Philippines business community, especially the micro and small and medium enterprises of our country, which is the backbone of our economy, is ready for this integration. A survey done by the ASEAN or the Asian Development Bank, or the ADB, in 2013 suggests that 55% of businesses in ASEAN are not even aware of the ASEAN Economic Community. The conclusion suggests that, and I quote, there is a lack of awareness of the ASEAN Economic Community 2015. More alarming is the result of a survey done by ASEAN and the Japan-ASEAN Integration Fund, which says that 76% of the people in ASEAN member states lacks a basic understanding about what ASEAN really is all about. There's this huge familiarity in the ASEAN name, but the people's knowledge of ASEAN probably stops there. If played out wisely, ASEAN's bold vision of achieving the free flow of goods, services, investment, and skilled labor in the region may help us achieve higher productivity and economic diversification. But we have to play our cards well. Clearly, innovation and creativity play a significant role in transforming small businesses into competitive components of the ASEAN value chain. We need to develop industries that will be innovators rather than consumers of technology. We need to build internal innovation competencies given the nascent stage of research in ASEAN. The government and the private sector must work hand in hand to make sure that our nations contributes to and benefits from the AEC. And much work obviously needs to be done in order that this community that we all seek to build will be relevant and will help usher in a higher quality of life for our people. And I'm glad that no less than our main speaker for tonight really has the core of his business in China and in the ASEAN countries like Indonesia, of course the Philippines, and Cambodia as well. Now allow me, before I go, to just mention a subject that's very close to my heart and I couldn't resist but talk about it tonight. And it has its relevance as well for those who are in the industry and in business. Allow me to share with you another advocacy, and that is disaster risk reduction and climate change adaptation that I've been espousing for decades now and which I will continue to do within and beyond the halls of the Senate. You know that as businessmen, as those who have invested heavily in industry, we have been experiencing stronger and more frequent natural hazards or typhoons in the past years. And beyond the loss of lives, disasters have massive impact on our economy. It has been reported that economic losses from disasters have increased 18-fold since the 1970s. And with each disaster that we allow to happen in our communities, Filipinos are dragged even deeper into poverty. And with each disaster, and that's more than 21 typhoons in a year, money from government coffers that ought to be used to reduce poverty, to support rural livelihoods, to provide universal health care, to provide better quality education, to provide for the health of women and children, etc. They're all diverted towards relief, reconstruction, and rehabilitation. And you know that very well, of course. Through the laws that we enacted, the Climate Change Act, the National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Act, and the People's Survival Fund Law, all of these should actually mean that we are prepared. But what we need to do in government is to get you, business and industry, and the media together so that we can make sure that these laws that we enacted in the past years actually work for our people. But the disaster risk reduction is everybody's business. A more visible action from the business community is actually required. Businesses need to make plans with the general population in mind. A massively decimated market will not allow businesses to thrive. It is therefore in the private sector's best interest to strengthen its support to climate action and DRR initiatives. Private companies like yours should be encouraged to come up with their own business continuity plans that will showcase how prepared they are to face disasters and to be back in business as soon as possible. This is already being undertaken in Japan, and that is why recovery from the 2011 earthquake and tsunami has been fast and efficient. The business community in the Philippines must begin to think about this. In closing, I simply wish to stress that the higher value of corporate business is not simply found in monetary profit that it brings, and neither it is just in the wealth that it creates, but really in the nobility of purpose. to improve the quality of life of our people and to build a sustainable and resilient human society. On that note, I would like to thank Anvil for having me once again for the nth time, and I would like to welcome to the Philippines his home town and his home country, Mr. Willie, and encourage him to, as he has always done already, and as he had, to invest more in the Philippines, to create more than the 17,000 jobs that he has already created. And for that, we laud you very much. So thank you very much, and good evening to all of you.